Mike CHEK is proudly supported by Island Eye Care. Do your eyes itch, water, or burn? Say goodbye to dry eye. Call Island Eye Care today. This is Victoria, one of the top tourist destinations in all of North America. But tourism is no longer the biggest industry in the capital. The tech sector has taken over with an economic impact of $8 billion every year, a number that has more than doubled over the last 8 years.
Abe Books is an internet search engine.
EA officially acquired Metalhead Software.
Canon bought it for almost $500 million.
Sometimes companies have been born right here where the founders meet in the lounge, and then they rent an office upstairs.
Nice.
And then they rent 5 offices upstairs.
So this is a product that's used on defense vessels. This piece of hardware goes on the boat and records anything that might be happening on that vessel so that they can replay all their missions.
More than 1,100 tech companies now call Victoria home, and many of them got their start right here at VIATEC, a nonprofit supporting everything from startups to major companies. The CEO of VIATEC is Dan Gunn. So let's go chat with Dan about how he helps these companies get off the ground. I'm here with Dan Gunn, the CEO of VIATEC. Dan, first of all, thank you for having us here today.
Pleasure.
Where are we?
Right now we're in Fort Tectoria. So we're downtown Victoria at 777 Fort Street. This is a building that we acquired in 2014.
Nice.
And we've been running it ever since as a co-working space and an event space.
That is very cool. And then what sort of, do people just come and meet here? And can anyone come in here? Is that essentially?
Yeah, during the day, it's unless there's an event, we'll put up a sign saying. But yeah, during the day, it's public space, and so it's kind of our gift to the community as a place to find good connectivity and charging and like-minded people. And over the years, we've had over 150 companies call this building home as they were getting themselves established and building tech companies here in Victoria.
Very cool. Now, I'm too old to say this, but I'd say the young people would say, like, this is a vibe in here. There's certainly a vibe. Is that sort of the aura you want to put out there?
Well, we wanted to reflect us, right? And so a lot of things in the world get done the same way over and over. And so we try and do things that we find interesting because we think that makes it fun for us and it makes it fun for our members.
What's the goal of VIATEC?
Sure. The easiest way to describe VIATEC is we're the tech association in Greater Victoria, and we focus our time and effort on helping tech companies grow here.
Right.
We have mission statements and vision statements and other things, but when people really just want to understand what we are, we're here to help grow tech companies in Greater Victoria. So we call this the lounge here at Fort Tectoria, and we host a lot of events for networking or for workshops between here and the conference room at the back. Sometimes companies have been born right here where the founders meet in the lounge, and then they start coming here regularly to sort of explore their business concept, and then they rent an office upstairs.
Nice.
And then they rent 5 offices upstairs, and then we say you should move and get your own.
You got to go somewhere else. We're getting too big, but that's that community you're talking about, right?
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes just knowing you're not alone is really helpful, right? And so the opportunity to get together, share your story, meet people who are like you, going through similar things to you, that gives people a sense of belonging. And that's really important, that you feel like there's a connective tissue to your community. And that's a lot more difficult now that more people work remotely and more people work for companies not in their city, those types of things. And so we try and create that connective tissue to bring everybody together for that sense of belonging, that there's something more than just you in your home office.
Right. It's not always who you know. Sometimes it's who knows you and who knows you exist.
So we put on a lot of events that bring them together. We have a roundtable for CEOs. We have a summit for leaders. We do a showcase called Discover Tectoria that'll be coming up this fall, where thousands of people get to go and see hands-on what's being built here. And so we try and draw attention, shine some light on it. We do the VIATEC Awards to get attention for our companies. We make sure that the media knows how to get in touch with us so that we can help them with stories. Make sure that the politicians and the policymakers know how important the impact of this sector is so that they can be supportive of us. We also help people try and find jobs in our sector. We provide education and mentoring programs. Right now, we're just at the beginning of a new project we call Boost, which provides direct funding to the highest potential ventures in Victoria for them to engage in a very specific project. And so we're excited about that. When I started at VIATEC in 2000, the sector was estimated about 600 million in revenues then. And at that time, I guess tourism was about 1.5 billion. So now we're up to 5.87 billion in annual revenues and about 7.87 billion in economic impact. it's transformative to Greater Victoria and our largest industry.
A lot of people we talk to are surprised that tech is the #1 industry in Victoria. Why is that? Like, why is it so big here specifically?
Well, I think it's big here because it's an amazing place to be. There's 2 universities and a college. Right. There's many federal research facilities. We've got the most educated population in the country. Right. 10% of our population is a post-secondary student at any given time. Wow. So you add all that together, and of course, it's the best place to live. Mm-hmm. It has the smartest people, and you can do tech anywhere. And so why not do it somewhere that you want to be?
Okay. And so what sort of companies are thriving here? What sort of companies are coming to you and say, we've got this idea, which maybe tell us a couple of success stories through VIATEC?
Well, we have companies of all sizes, right? So like Redland is probably the biggest exit we've ever seen at almost $500 million.
Wow.
We take cadmium, zinc, tellurium raw metals.
Redland's created the most advanced sensors of its kind.
And they use that in medical imaging devices like CAT scans they give the highest resolution CAT scan sensor. They can be used in bomb detectors at airports. And so over 20 years, they finally perfected how to grow crystals out on Keating Crossroad in Victoria, and then got that technology taking off to the point where Canon came along, which, Canon, the photography company, but they actually have a massive amount of different products, and they acquired them as an imaging company so that they could use their technology in their CAT scan machines and sell them around the world. And so that's a 20-year overnight success, right? Where they were raising money and grinding and like hitting walls over and over and over again, and then finally broke through. And now hundreds of people work for that company, and they continue to grow here. And we've had other big companies like Power Measurement got acquired by Schneider Electric. Abe Books got acquired by Amazon, was another big one. And then you have the companies that are up and coming. One that is really cool is called Barnacle Systems. Cool. They make devices that track everything that's happening on your ship now. It used to be boat, and now they're selling to the military. And so they sell these devices that track everything. And Chris Hatfield's on their board, and I think they're like 15, 20 people, but they're growing. Cool. And we'll see that continue, for a period going forward. We have 13 subsectors, so we have everything from aerospace to digital media to gaming to environmental technology to ocean sciences, and so it's very diverse, and that's always been one of our strengths.
How do you really help these maybe smaller companies and bigger companies?
Yeah, and it's different. The smaller companies, they need more than the bigger companies, and what the bigger companies need is very specialized. But there's still, if you're a big company and you're looking for people, we're a great resource for them to help find the talent. If you're a big company, you telling everybody that tech's the biggest industry in Victoria doesn't have the same weight as us doing an economic impact study that proves that, right? And so now when you're trying to raise investment, you're trying to attract people, you're trying to attract leadership, experienced leadership, the story that we put together for you becomes helpful in doing that process. The smaller companies, they need introductions to investors, they need mentorship from many levels. And then once you get a term sheet put in front of you and you've never seen one before, it's helpful to talk to an entrepreneur that's 2 years ahead of you to say like, oh, watch out for this, watch out for that.
What's your favorite part about being the CEO of VIATEC?
I like helping entrepreneurs pull off really great things. They create great jobs. There's like so many families in Victoria that have been able to thrive and succeed here because of the stuff that our entrepreneurs are building. And so I think entrepreneurs are a very special type of person that's willing to take a massive risk on themselves and to work very, very hard for a long period of time with limited reward. And when it all works out, it's amazing. It's amazing to see, and it's amazing to see the people that they bring together under them to build the team, and then to see those teams grow up and become other companies. You know? And so just seeing the ongoing evolution of our community of entrepreneurs is the best part.
And coming up, we'll check out one of those local companies that started here and now work here, the Oak Bay Marina, where Barnacle Systems is a local tech company doing incredible things on the world stage.
Found out that there weren't any black boxes on high-speed boats at all.
Are you sometimes a little blown away with, what started as a sailboat issue for yourself has turned into this and all these contracts and everything?
Yeah, 8 years ago, you would have never told me that we'd be in the defense market with this.
This is the Oak Bay Marina. Today we're talking tech, which is now the biggest industry in Greater Victoria. And one of the biggest success stories is Barnacle Systems. Started by Brandon Wright from the Comox Valley, his technology is used in everything from recreational boats to now military vessels. And it all started when a sailboat went adrift. All right, we are here with Brandon Wright, and we are standing in beautiful Oak Bay Marina, but in front of this barge that has pretty big significance. Where are we right now?
Absolutely. So yeah, this is the first office space that we actually had for Barnacle Systems. There was a period of time that if this sank, the whole business went away. So we call it the Barna barge. Yeah, so this is the barge.
This is the barge. And you've had ministers in here. You've had Chris Hadfield in here, I'm assuming.
We even had this place outfitted as a submarine for some of the experimental testing we were doing for the military.
Everything changed when your sailboat sank. Maybe tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So a 27-foot Catalina sailboat.
Beautiful.
So for all the boaters out there, they'll know.
Beauty.
Good starter boat. And so she's anchored in Mill Bay in front of my folks' house. And I get a phone call in the middle of the night in December saying, hey, the boat's on the beach. I'm like, oh my Lord. I looked online and there was nothing I could put on my boat that would allow me to get an alert if my boat dragged anchor. And so my wife was a stay-at-home mom at the time. My daughter was 2 years old. The perfect time to quit your job. Just as like, if anyone's looking for career advice.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's just go. So had the idea and I approached VIATEC. Wow. And that's when I met Rob Bennett, Dan Gunn, the crew there. And they assigned me an executive in residence, so a mentor. Wow. And his name's Mark Grambart. And without the three of those folks, I wouldn't be here. So this is the original Barnacle right here.
This is the OG. So for someone who may not fully comprehend what's happening here, could you sort of give us the Coles note, so to speak?
Absolutely. So for our consumers, for the yacht owners and all that, it's like a home security system for your boat.
Yeah.
So you're actually monitoring all the systems as if you're monitoring your home. You're recording cameras on your boat like a security system.
Right.
But then our mobile app allows you to see the live status of your boat, the batteries, your bilge pumps, all of that.
And then ideally, when it's working, what's it catching?
Yeah. So for a consumer, for someone that owns a boat, we'd monitor if their batteries are dying, if someone's tried to break into their boat, or if their vessel's sinking. So we'll send out alerts automatically to their smartphone with those notifications.
Where kind of approximately are you now on that world stage?
Yeah. So we've now got 18 employees that are here in Victoria. We got 3 in the States, and we're exporting millions of dollars worth of hardware into 40 countries around the world. So it's just been absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, couldn't have done it without the support of the team, my family, and the community here in Victoria.
You've had some pretty impressive roles over the year, not to mention your very first job out of university. You're working with the CIA, so maybe talk us about that.
Over the course of about 7 years, I commuted back and forth to the Middle East developing surveillance systems for the CIA and US Air Force. Wow. And used HQ as here in Victoria, but then I'd fly out to Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Yemen for weeks at a time, come home for a few days, mow my lawn, then fly back out there.
Wow. What did that teach you, not just about technology and its place in the world, but also your ability to understand the real world as well?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Comox, coming to the big city here in Victoria, and then being shuttled off to Dubai and Abu Dhabi was a total culture shock. And at this time, I was out there during the Iraq and Afghan wars. And so I had a view of that region that was quite terrifying. But learning the love and respect that those people have out there and how welcoming they were and the support that I got out there was just absolutely incredible. From an engineering perspective, I knew what it was like to be in the worst environment possible and having to have highly reliable systems that people trusted with their lives. So as an engineer, I learned always bring the right tools, always have the right equipment. Preparation is key, like making sure that everything works back at your office, and then know that you're not going to have as much support when you're out in the field in the middle of the big sand pit.
Wow.
So we were really surprised, and that's kind of my entrepreneurial journey, was a bunch of surprises, of course, but we found out that there weren't any black boxes on high-speed boats at all. Our primary product is the Barnacle Black.
Sweet.
So this is a product that's used on defense vessels, and essentially what we're doing is we're logging data off of high-speed boats. So your police boats, your special forces boats, DFO, groups like that. But we also now work with U.S. Department of Defense, so Army, Marine Corps, Navy, all those folks. This piece of hardware goes on the boat and records all the engine data, camera data, anything that might be happening on that vessel so that they can replay all their missions.
Wow.
So if there's ever any controversy or whatever, they can do that. They can review it. Or if it's for training, they can understand how the training mission went.
Have you been able to find things that were almost unexpected in that, okay, we've linked this data, we're starting to find things that, oh, this has been a positive of that?
Absolutely. So one of the big studies that we're now involved in is human factors.
Wow.
So since we're collecting all the data off the vessel, we learned that there was a very important study happening where they were trying to understand the effects on the people.
Wow.
So the sudden impacts. It's like on a boat is a lot different than being in a vehicle where you're just kind of hitting the top of a mountain every few seconds.
Right.
So those folks are getting like 10, 20 G impacts on their bodies. So now we're starting to collect human factors data where we'll monitor the hull, the seat, and the bodies on board, and then produce insights to say, hey, this individual suffered too many impacts. Maybe it's time for them to take a week off or start talking to Veterans Affairs about disability and things like that. It's more the long-term side. So we actually have different military style equipment on board this vessel.
No way.
So we've got the shock absorbing seats, we've got automatic trim tabs that help with sudden impacts.
Wow.
So we're doing a lot of the human factors analysis actually on this boat. And then, of course, it's fully rigged up with Barnacle. We've got some cameras on the bow, the forward, and the stern here in the back of the boat. So if someone boards the vessel, we get the alert to my smartphone. We see what's going on. But
someone thinks of this thing, you get an alert, I feel like.
Absolutely.
And coming up, we'll talk to Brandon about what the future of tech looks like in Victoria and the very cool technology his team is working on right now.
So we have the Barnacle Black, that's the Barnacle White. We've got a Barnacle Blue for yachting as well, but the Barnacle Green is for armored vehicles.
Wow. We are here at Oak Bay Marina talking tech with Brandon Wright of Barnacle Systems, a local success story now working with militaries around the world. We wanted to ask Brandon about the future of tech in Victoria and why it's so important for him to stay local. Okay, so this is, as you mentioned, early idea here. This is the OG. This is kind of where you're currently at. And what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is the next generation now for us. This is the Barnacle Green. So we have the Barnacle Black, that's the Barnacle White. We've got a Barnacle Blue for yachting as well, but the Barnacle Green is for armored vehicles.
Wow.
So as we started going after the high-speed boat market, they said, hey, it's great that you can monitor our fleet of high-speed boats, but we also have a fleet of vehicles. And we thought that this would exist as well too, but it turned out that consolidating all their sensor networks on these armored vehicles didn't exist.
Wow.
They'd have one system for cameras, one system for engine, one system for power.
Right.
But we just consolidated all into one box and then log it on a large hard drive inside of here.
Cool.
Yeah.
And is it purposeful to be a little bit military green there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's that, like 90% of the challenge is making it look good.
It does look pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you say like military vehicles, are we talking like Humvees, or are we talking like bigger? And
yeah, so like armored vehicles, it could be carriers of VIPs, so they could be as simple as like looking like an SUV with bulletproof glass and all that, but it also could be a Humvee or something along those lines. Yeah, over these 8 years, it's been wild, the growth from this one individual product to now having a line of defense products.
Sort of a microcosm of what's actually happening in the tech sector here in Victoria as well, right? Like maybe start small, but look what it's doing.
Exactly, right? And for us, it was just listening to the market, because I built this product originally for myself, and then as we started hearing what the market wanted, it's like, okay, the market started leading us to where we needed to go, and that helped spur our growth as well too.
How much is timing and how much is surrounding?
Oh man, I figure that there's a lot of hard work that goes into being lucky. And so there was a little bit of timing for sure, but then my background in electrical engineering and my background with the defense market, the timing, it was a bit of that risk of like, all right, like I've got the background to do this, like let's just go for it. Living in Victoria, you just have such an unbelievable group of people, like with the university right here, the college here as well, like the pool of talent that we have in Victoria is just absolutely outrageous. Then we've got the military military base. We've got all the yachts around. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better spot to be running a marine business. It's just the community that we have here in Victoria between the associations for marine, the VIATEC community, and all the support and love that we have here in town that really helped us be successful.
Yeah, and then fast forward to then, now you're working with NATO. You're going to be speaking in Washington, D.C. very soon. Just talk to me about some of the international work that you're now doing based off this little idea of a sailboat coming to shore.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if we look at it from a 10,000-foot lens, we actually got acquired in October as a business. And so we've got Chris Hadfield, the astronaut, who's on our $5 bill, is my mentor and board member. Wow. We've got a 3-star U.S. Navy admiral on our team, but we're now a data logger that's being used for an entire NATO study. So we were in Sweden a few weeks ago presenting to special warfare folks from 8 different countries and 15 organizations from around the world. Wow. We have an office in, well, a bunch of folks that live in Florida that are selling into the defense market, each of them with defense backgrounds, either Marine Corps, Navy. So yeah, we're really just this like small but mighty group that works out of the Oak Bay Marina that's shipping military products and helping Canada meet their NATO GDP 5% spend, and really trying to help bring more money back into Canada while also encouraging that spend as well.
Then I know that you're working with some big governments on some big projects as well, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm extremely patriotic Canadian. Like we manufacture everything in Vancouver, we assemble everything here in our office in Victoria, and we export. And I feel like it's my duty as a Canadian to get as much money from other countries brought into Canada.
I love that.
So especially while we have any conflict with the United States or whatever, I think the best thing we can do is extract as much money out of the States and bring it into Canada.
You're gonna get a lot of fans here, Brandon.
Yeah. So I really enjoy that. But long term, though, I just really want us to be seen as the standard black box that you see on every high-speed boat within defense. So when you think of boat monitoring, as you think of black boxes, you think Barnacle. That's what I want to get to. And now having the platform within NATO, within like being on Capitol Hill next week in Washington, D.C. with the astronaut and the whole crew, we just have an audience that I never thought we would ever have. And so we're just trying to seize that opportunity and just go as hard as we can.
How big can it get here in Victoria? Because we talk about it now leading the charge. It's way well past tourism at this point. How big can the tech sector get here?
Oh my gosh, I don't think there's any real limit, to be completely honest. I mean, you've got all the different forms of engineering at the university. We live in the most beautiful place on earth, in my opinion, so we're going to be attracting all these folks. Really, it's having associations like Coast and VIATEC and all those different groups that are actually going to bring all those connections together, host the networking events, host the opportunities to get foreign investment in. Cool. I just don't see where the limit would actually be.
They say a rising tide raises all ships, and Barnacle Systems is just one of the local companies turning Victoria into a tech powerhouse.